So wait till that loads completely,
Yeah, no touchy.
then I can close that out. Makes me, this is the worst part of the whole meeting. Okay, so that's loaded, right? So I can close it out.
All the people who
Well,
want.
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you got to admit them, it looks like.
That's not the application fee. That's not the fee for it, that's to complete the application,
Yeah, for them to do it.
for them to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's going, yeah. Wow,
So that's.
that's quick. All
You
right.
can check the link, make sure. But
Nope, I'm gonna
Ready?
I quit.
We just got it right there.
You did.
No.
Because at first it was like something and then
Yeah.
Tina and
Good.
then other users. I looked back up at it. And it said start.
Already. Yeah, I finally loaded it.
Get special.
What?
Get special.
Thank you. I got one extra, but. Let's stick it on it. That's package.
Randy, how are you?
Yeah. Was that clock up there or what?
I'm waiting for the rerun.
You like to cut it.
It was rolling back.
What you had for lunch?
That's, I left work today and they said, I go, man, now I gotta go home for an hour and come back. They go, well, just go to the bar. I go,
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'd be real good. Super in it.
Come on, your glass.
So it's the same step.
Yeah.
You should just left it that way. And, you know.
Yeah, how to- How's it going?
You know what? Everything going well? We checked it, we just went out there, everything's still, I don't know if you've been out there in a while.
Is the ground still froze? It's still froze.
No, it's really not.
Is it?
I didn't do much.
During that cold snap, right after that, you know, it thawed out. And it was unthought about that far and then it was-
We used to put.
Like nice people. Yeah, they are. I didn't get a chance to talk too much.
Yeah, they're not.
I said I didn't get a chance really to talk too much at them. Yeah.
I didn't know if the county would do those signs.
Yeah, because we're putting signs in now. Yes.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. The pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This is our January meeting, the first one of the new year. Tracy's reminded me that we would ask for anyone who wants to speak, start out by giving us their name, that way we can put it in the meetings and keep things, you know, who said what, that sort of thing, okay? All right. I think the first thing on my agenda is the Beaver agreement approval for the.
So when we talked about that last month, it was, we were gonna take care of it for this month. I talked to Justin. He was not able to make it to the meeting tonight. I see Bruce isn't here either, so I don't think that's that big of a deal, but he had to go, Bruce or Justin had to go to the Monterey town meeting. He said they whine louder than me. So he said he'd be at the February meeting, so I think.
And
he'll be
that's
fine.
plenty of time to do that.
Yeah. And well, one thing on that, we had to get a signature from someone from the drainage board. Do I have to go to a meeting or just,
I would talk to the secretary of the can't remember her name, of the surveyor.
and ask her, because she's also the secretary for the drainage board,
Okay,
and she could get that set up for you.
okay.
So nothing further on that tonight?
I don't think so.
Okay, very good. The next thing is the Veterans Memorial Report, Carl.
I met with Jackie over at the Community Foundation. And I was sent a bill from Tracy for the light repair over there. Was it $1,200 or something? Like that? $1,500.
something.
So I went over to talk to her. And what she had told me was the total available that we have earned that we can spend is up to $146 this year. We do have an endowment gift balance of $5,450 and historic income earnings balance of $20,683.31. Total balance of $26,133.31, which is money that is basically invested. That money will continue to draw the interest. The bigger that gets, the more we'll have each quarter to spend. When I got back from there, I talked to Rachel, and Rachel said that she'll just get it out of the park fund. So
I took care of it. It came out of there. She gave me a number. I did the claim and she gave me the number to use for that. So I did come out of the Starke County Park Board.
I think when they have something wrong there, they should probably notify us what it is and let us get some prices. We didn't even know anything was wrong with that. And realistically, that thing's only been around for a couple of years. Those lights should not.
That's the
have
second
went
one.
out. Is it really?
I don't know how they're getting broke. But I think I didn't know anything about it. The first one was like kind of before my time. The second one, I think Jim just took it, the maintenance guy took it upon himself to get it fixed.
Yeah. I mean, they notified us when a tree was dying,
Yeah.
Right,
but they didn't let us know about
Right.
a $1,500 light.
that was quite expensive, I thought.
Yeah.
Cause it was
If-
just,
I agree with you.
it was just one of those little lights in the ground. Had,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know,
If you could just relay to them that they need to let us
just
know.
down,
Well, probably
whoever,
Jim, Chris, whoever.
Took his place.
Rick. If he's still here, I haven't seen him.
I
Okay.
thought there was a fund set up for maintaining.
There is.
Well, that's what I used.
That's an
She gave
endowment.
me, like, our number for claims is 4927. She gave me it didn't come out
It
of,
did come out of our fund.
correct.
Okay, very good.
But that sounds like, based on what you read though, it sounds like it might be years before we ever get to spend any money out of that. I mean, like decades. even.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're never gonna earn much interest on $27,000.
I've got somebody from it. So it's supposed to be myself as the chairperson of the board, and then it's supposed to be a member of the Knox VFW, the Hamlet VFW, the Hamlet Legion, the Knox Legion, and the North Judson Legion. I've got everybody but somebody from the North Judson Legion right now. Rosie Rose is supposed to be getting me somebody from there. But once we get everybody together, then I want to have a meeting and we can sit down and we can start working on different things. I know we still want to do the thing that Kathy and them had started at the beginning, was have that donors dinner.
Right.
And that might be a good way to step things up and kick off a campaign to.
Right. And you don't want to have that donors dinner unless we can be sure to pay the money out of that for that dinner out of that fund though, right? Because-
Yeah, as long as it's $146. I understand. I understand. I know how to do that.
When they set up that committee, they originally did that, so those different groups would get together and have fundraisers and things like that for the.
Correct. And to further what you're saying, Tom, is everybody bought their own ticket for it. It wasn't they just came into it. So.
Right, okay.
And before we leave that, 2 meetings ago, there were these guys here from the VFW, I believe.
Dick Beecham from the VFW and Jim Brown from the American Legion.
They were talking about the Eagle for Ono. And in the way they talked, there wasn't any inscription on that, but I went over and looked at the base of that. And it's all there. It's got Mr. Ono's name, what he did to earn the medal, and then on the side, it lists the park board. I mean, I don't know what they're talking.
It wasn't there originally,
It wasn't.
and then it was taken care of, because I did talk to Dick Beecham about
It's
it.
been done now, so it looks very nice, if anyone wants to go look at it. Okay,
I'm gonna intervene just for a minute because I just got a phone call. I didn't have time to add it to. It's Coots Lake. You guys know Bob and Roz that have the marina, not the marina, the lifts, they do the boat lift stations and all of that, Bob.
Yeah.
He called yesterday afternoon and said he has a ton of sand. They call it blow sand, which is beach sand.
Mhm.
He's willing to donate to Coots Lake. And he's right on 23,
Right.
just north, a mile north of Coots Lake.
Right, yes.
So I'm gonna get with him and see what he has and how much he has, and if we can just get maybe the county to haul it over for us, it will be free of charge.
We had a problem before about not having the permit properly, remember on that?
Yes,
2 meetings ago.
but I think we're good with that because
Okay,
from what I read, we did not destruct the water. We didn't touch the water or anything, so we were good.
Yeah, the lawyer said, was it last week you were in here, and he said that we were good, we didn't have to
Yeah.
wait on that.
As long as we're not putting anything in the water or anything like that, so. In the next week or two, I'll get with him and go see what he has and.
Okay.
Cause
do we know how many loads it is or what?
I have no idea, he said he had tons,
Okay, because
So-
I don't know how much we actually need. on it.
I can look at it and see what he has and. We'll get that taken care of.
Can I ask a question before we move on? I'm Kathy Henson.
Yes,
But can I ask Ted Beerley and Tom, they want to kind of extend that, so maybe can we put like sand someplace else too, or can we reserve it? Because right now we're not ready for
he
that.
said he is not in a hurry to get it out of there, so. He said he'll just keep it for us and donate it to us.
Thank you.
okay, very good. All right, moving on to Bass Lake, lift station bid approval and discussion.
Well, this is not good news, and in a way it is, in a way it's not. I talked to Dave Pierman about them paying for the lift station. And he said, you can absolutely go and try, but it is the wrong time of year for them to give us any kind of money, being that our budget is brand new. He requests or said that he thinks the thing to do is for us to go ahead and pay for it, get it taken care of. And, come this summer, later summer, when, if we get in trouble with other things, they will be more than glad to help us out.
Famous.
Checks in the mail.
But that means we have to hold off until the,
We can't.
I know, but the rents, is there money in there?
Well,
now to
yes,
do
he
it?
said there's money in there. He said, and I don't know, Rick, you probably know how that budget is screwy to me. I have 4 different people telling me 4 different things. But yes, there's money from, what we had, like right now, the budget is showing everything in the negative. Because nothing's came in yet.
Right, but you have carryover money from 2020.
Correct.
That's correct. And it is
And-
confusing in the beginning, and once that kind of trickles in after a
Right.
few months, it'll even out.
And by the time we get the water turned on and get all of this ready to go, our first installments are due April
The
1st.
big thing
So,
is if you have a big payment or anything, just go to Rachel, she'll tell you if you have available funds to do that immediately
right,
or not.
And I mean, I
Probably
kinda-
do right now.
right. I kind of understand what he's saying because I get it. Everybody's got a brand new budget sitting there with all of this money and they're gonna go, he said, you're more than welcome to present it, but 99,
Generally, if the
percent.
council says they're going to support it later on, they are usually pretty good about that. I've never seen where they've kind of reneged on that,
Right,
but they don't want you to spend it early, because then you'll be asking for money all year long
right.
and not spending your budget,
Right.
so that does
He
make
said
some
he would
sense.
rather, us use it, spend it, and then if we get in trouble later, they would help us out. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me.
It does.
So do we have the money to do it?
Yes,
So there's cash on hand, we're not actually, the county's not actually putting money
No.
out to.
no,
You can't go negative.
Well, I know, that's
Yeah.
right, but I just want to make sure we actually do have the cash on hand.
That wouldn't, if the claim wouldn't be approved by Rachel, but
right. And like I said, everything's in the negative, which there isn't much on there except the pay and insurance and stuff like that, but once it,
And if we do it now, we can make it until we start bringing money.
oh, definitely, because we won't even be able to do the lift station until we get the water turned back on. I would like to, March or so, get the parts ordered and in and stuff like that, but by then I think we'll be okay.
Okay, and we approved the.
Yes.
We did.
It was approved
Yeah,
last
yeah,
time and then I talked to Dave and
Yeah.
he now it's a new year and everybody's sitting with all this money and I'm like.
Yeah.
Oh, no, now I gotta go back and start over.
No.
So,
No,
like I said, after he
Generally,
explained
the
it to
additional
me,
appropriations start in August and September and October when. If you had a big expenditure in the beginning of the year, that's when you make up for it at that time.
Yeah.
But you do want to talk to them ahead of time to make sure they're kind of on board with it, what you did.
right. And he said if I had any questions, he'd be on call tonight. He had to go to a different meeting too, so if we had any questions, we could call him during the meeting if there was, but I think.
so it sounds like we're
I could
good to
explain
go
it
on
okay.
that. Right,
I believe so.
okay. The sunken diving plan.
Well. I gave you guys all this letter with the DNR's response. I'm not aware of any program that would provide assistance in removal of the now sunken diving platform. For the future reference, I checked with someone in our permitting section to see if this removal of the obstacle would require a permit when you get to that point. She said that if the platform is now embedded in the lake bed and would require excavation or digging to remove, then a permit will be needed for the work.
That upsets me a little bit because the state put it in. And
And
they
I-
put it in
Turn it
there.
over to, I mean, I have to check.
Yes, Justin was gonna check that, wasn't he?
Well, I
I
don't
don't know,
know.
we should have Justin check
Check
that,
that.
because they're the ones who put it in the water, and now they're saying we have.
To her, that's what I
Right.
said to her was,
Right, but maybe if we get legal involved, then maybe it's. I mean, get it.
All right.
At least meet in the middle or something on it, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
work together with it.
I'll put Justin's name on that one. But I just wanted, I know Rick Gilbert, he's on vacation right now, but. He had been talking about it and looking in past minutes from years past, this has been on there a lot.
it's been a problem for at least the last,
Rick, how big is that platform, do you know?
it's big,
Is it?
yes,
So it'd take probably a crane to get
yes,
it
it
out
would
there.
absolutely take at least a small crane, yeah.
So I just wanted everybody to know that I did notify them and that was their response.
And it's very embedded in the lake bed.
So that's where that's at.
Okay. Swimming ropes.
The next page, I sent a letter also to the DNR about the swimming ropes. She has not gotten back to me. I sent that last week, but I did find on the second page, I did find this paper in the files. I don't know if that means a whole lot. The one that I put yellow on and with the little mark. A person must not operate a boat at a site within the swimming area adjacent to Bass Lake Beach and campground. So, I mean, there are legal numbers up here and it does say Bass Lake Special Boating Zones and Temporary Structure Standards. So I asked her, if this meant anything or, I explained to her that what's going on and someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, and how do you designate a swimming area without roping?
Well, right. I mean, it says all of the,
With buoys. We put buoys.
you would have to have one like every foot or,
Well, I'm sure you
every,
need one every foot. If you have enough of them.
it's a lot of work.
And have you met with the DNR officers that are assigned to Bass Lake,
I don't
You might
know.
want to do that
No.
before because they're the ones who patrol it on the boats and on the jet skis. And maybe if you have a meeting with them ahead of time and show them this and say, we're concerned about this, maybe they'll make an extra effort to.
Now, is there like a district?
There is a district that, the Bass Lake property owners know that because they have the meeting with the voting classes. And they call them up, so they have a contact person. So.
You said the property owner?
Yes,
Yeah.
Kathy Later might have that, or Rick Anderson might have that.
I see Rick.
Contact.
I had the captain's number in my phone too, my phone's in the truck, but I'll get that to you as well. There's places there.
Did you check with Mark Schreiber? The name I gave you and number? from Laporte in reference to the ropes?
I don't recall getting that name and number.
I gave it to you down in your office that day with you and Angelina.
Oh, like day 2
I don't remember what day.
of me? No, I did not, unless she has it.
They have ropes up at their beach and I don't know how they can do it. And
Where's that at?
yeah, Laporte, he's a park superintendent up there.
And there's roped off other, there's other
So,
roped off,
Stone Lake.
there's other roped off swimming areas around this lake,
Oh, yeah.
even that. I don't wanna throw that out there and get them in trouble now.
Okay, so.
Yeah, I'm just saying what, like I said, this was a week ago. She hasn't responded to me yet, so.
I think Rick's got a good idea. If you talk to the local guys, that might be helpful. They might have some sway with, yeah.
Even if, yeah,
Try to see if I can get hold of my neighbor too. He was a former DNR guy on the lake.
and I know the manager of the Tippecanoe State Park, that's all. They would.
Right, they would know. And if they go out there early and kind of bring somebody early, that word gets around quickly, and so maybe that would help also as well.
One being enforcing it, once they get in there.
Right.
And
Okay. Area campground pricing and amenities comparison.
From the meeting last week about raising the rent and stuff, we did some research on the area campgrounds, and that paper is just. We made some phone calls and inquiries about different area campgrounds, so that's just kind of a follow-up to
That's helpful.
what everybody else has, and like 99% of them have full hookups.
Now, we did already vote in the rates for this year, so.
Yes.
This is the kind of thing we're discussing this year
Right.
and
Like
for
in the
next
spring.
year as well.
We just kind of wanted
That would make it
to,
more, right, exactly, that's a good start.
You
Kind
know,
of start
give an
now.
idea of-
Yes,
What's our current rate?
2,300. We're higher than most of them with less amenities. Except Indiana Beach, of course. No, it's kind of a given, but
plus they got a amusement park right there.
and it was just, it's just kind of a, something to follow.
Plus the storage.
some of those don't have a link.
True.
And then we have a NIPSCO comparison.
And that was brought up, I think, Rick, you wanted to see. I know we were talking about it when we were talking about metering.
Right.
The sites and stuff. These are just like the monthly bills in comparison
That
from
we should be able to figure out the average cost.
21 and
all the
22.
Sites across the campground.
And I mean, they're, some of them are full-time, some are,
No, I know, but I mean, you get an average of what.
they're super close in, the 2 years. And of course, we're down to like, $200-300 now for a couple of months, so that definitely helps.
That kind of ties into the thing I'm gonna talk about in a minute about the grants. And the electrical upgrades and things.
Yes, and that's, that's a really big expense. And I did find that in the minutes from past couple
Right.
years or whatever, the
It's $200,000,
250,000 or
yes.
whatever. Yeah, to do that, but that probably isn't just metering
No.
each site, that's
No, that's
Yeah.
the
the entire,
upgrading the entire site,
Right.
yes, on both sides of the road.
right.
Okay. Leases discussion. Should we do this?
That's just, the leases have all been, they got mailed out last week, so. Everybody should, you just say you started getting them. Got them this week, so they have till April 1st, once again, to their first installment, so that's when the money should start coming in.
Is this the lease that went out? Or do you know?
Is it say right at the top, 2023? That had to be from. I didn't put that in the
Yeah,
packet. This,
2000, well, it says 2023 here.
yeah, then that should be it.
I went through this, there were quite a few typographical things, but nothing serious, but a lot of
We'll
little.
have to talk to Justin's secretary.
Well, I did mention it to Justin. but, I should have done something prior to this, but it's already gone out, so
Right, yeah, they've already received
it's
those.
too late to do anything.
Not too soon to start thinking about next year's lease, because we want to change some things and
Yeah.
so really.
Right, But see what we're gonna, what we do if we, upgrade things and do some things for them rather than
Right.
just, okay, we're gonna go to $2,600, but you get nothing better,
That's right.
It kind of goes together, I guess,
I
right?
did have a
Yes.
question. I noticed on the website, we had last year's on there, and this is the first I heard about the new lease being, I was wondering if we could get it published out on the web so people can see. Excuse me, see the new copy.
Oh, the new lease?
Yeah, the new lease, because it's not out there right now, other than the hard copy that was mailed, so.
Yeah.
I did notice that,
Which
so.
website were you on?
You should probably.
Yeah.
The .com site. That has a form section on the bottom, and it has last year's lease, but it does not have this year's.
Okay,
So.
and I'm
That would
also,
probably be helpful for some people that.
You can take care of that, right?
yes,
Okay.
because I'm kind of in the process of updating that website anyway. You all got the letter
And
that,
that was keep very best like campground, how's that? So I go along with the request of Tracy.
don't let me forget to put your picture.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
very
much,
good. All right, here we go. Peer project progress report.
The peer package went to Indianapolis last Thursday. I met with Steve Barrett and Tom Wednesday night. We looked over the 3 peers. Hopefully everything's good. I sent them out the next day with, the packet this big of everything they needed, and now we wait. They said a minimum of 60 days, so.
And the only thing I'm still a little unclear of though is in the email back from Susan DeLay. It's saying that the permit request needs to have the shore stations where every shore station is gonna be, and you don't know that. You know what I mean? And so. Yeah,
I said that was part of the temporary peer.
Yeah, I know, but our last one, the one that they actually was approved down in Indianapolis, so we got in trouble for not following, doesn't have shore stations identified. It has spots, where each boat goes. But not everybody needs to have a shore station, at least at the campground right now. Well, I mean, some people use augers and some people use the shore station, so.
So there was a.
I'm not sure
follow-up.
it's something we need to push, but it does seem to be where sometimes we're talking past each other, and I'm not sure
What don't you understand about this?
that we have to identify on our peer permit request where every shore station
On the drawings.
in the drawing is going to go.
So there was a follow-up letter to that, and I said, we cannot tell you that right now because we haven't rented the pier slips out. We have, I said I can kind of go by last year, but the piers were wrong. So she suggested just put where you think they might be
I would just put
and
them
in the
everywhere.
bottom, but
Yeah, because
I did like over half.
I'd put them everywhere, and if we don't need them,
And I said,
it's not gonna be a problem.
I said projected,
You can put
I said
them wherever-
projected.
I guess that's a solution. We could put.
Yeah, just put
slot.
them everywhere.
Like, they're already there.
So if we don't have it there, it's not a big deal.
That's right.
I said, I put right on it, projected pier
Okay.
rentals,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think that's the only way.
Short station.
Okay, now we're down to Bass Lake Beach House Trailhead Committee Troyer Group update, and Rick.
Okay, we've been talking for a few months now about the possible upgrades and applying for grants to do the upgrades. We met a couple of months ago at the Bass Lake Beach with Dave Pearman and some other members of the board and some other members of the community, and everybody was positive about it, had some good ideas, and Dave did say they would probably support us in this effort to do this. Sam made some very good points at the last meeting about we really need to get this beach upgraded. Not just because that's what we should do in servicing the county, but also because it'll help bring in revenue for the beach and help us maintain the beach in the way it needs to be maintained. There are a couple different ways of going about it. Some of the improvements, as we know, the electrical improvements, $200,000, HVAC, some plumbing, some of those things are very expensive. And, we right up until now, we've been kind of doing band-aiding and fixing things as they go along. It's been okay, but it really doesn't get ahead of the problem. We can continue doing that. We have the funds to continue that. We do not have the funds for the $200,000 and some other things. That takes grants. Now, When I worked at the highway department, I did not like using consultants to get grants. I did not like using consultants at all. Anytime we could fund something on our own, we did that. But there are some things that are just beyond what the county can do and what we can fund from what the funds that we have allocated. They provide, we met with, Tracy and I met with Mike Reese about a month ago. And he put together this proposal for us. And it basically is a pretty thorough proposal of what they would do. There's two sections. One, they would do a master plan for the beach. All the improvements that are needed, not only just the beach side, but the other side of the beach. The plumbing, electrical, HVAC, compliance upgrades, site improvements, everything. And that's included in that plan in the scope of services, along with a couple of meetings and review meetings and prioritizing, and they create budgets. Now, sometimes it's important to have a consultant do that because everybody has an opinion on how the beach should be improved. And we need an objective opinion to do that we can base our decisions on, and the public can too. Because if you ask 50 people, you have 50 different opinions. If you have a consultant come in or an engineer, that's an opinion that we can say, hey, they said this. We may disagree a little bit, but here's why they said this, and here's why they said this is going to cost this much, and this is going to cost this much. The fee for that master plan is $19,000. Sometimes it seems like a lot, but if you think the hours they put into it, and if we hold them to their scope of services, which is an important thing, make sure they provide everything that they do, that's really not out of line. When we did road improvements and other things, that's about what we would pay consultants, and sometimes a little bit more as well. But you got to keep on them and make sure they provide what they're going to say they provide. The second part of the proposal is for the application for the Water Conservation Fund grant. Now, what that grant does, now we would not receive the funds for that for a couple of years. So I think that we can use a combination of what we talked about. The immediate improvements that we can do with the funds that we have, and in the long-term fund, if you get the grant now, you have 2 years to secure the matching funds for that. And when you have that money in hand, the council is much more likely to contribute to that if they know there's money coming in. We're putting in our part, and then the state is putting in their part. So I think that combination of things is good. It's difficult to do grants, even just ask people for money and other groups for money if you don't have a good plan. And our plan changes all the time. Basically, we're doing, like I said, things we have to do immediately, acute problems. This will help identify the long-term problems that we can improve the beach to the point where it will bring in money. One of the things we did last year was bring in the piers. It's been a little rough getting that started, but after about a year or so, that should be bringing in positive income on the beach side. And then we need to work a little bit to make the sites better. If we are going to raise rates, or even we're just going to keep them the same, we need to improve the services. And I agree with Sam wholeheartedly on that. Like I said, I'm not always a fan of consultants, but I do think in this case, this will help us and say, hey, here's the plan that they came up with. Here's our tweaks to it, and do that. But I do think if we approve these, that we have to make sure we stay on them at all times. And they're pretty good. Troyer Group has a good track record with this. They've gotten this grant many times before. They've gotten other grants before. They are pretty good about this. There's a couple other consultants that are available to do this that I've not had as good of experience with. Troyer Group's generally been pretty good with this. And now Dave Pearman did say that they would help us with this money, just very similar to the other situation. They said that they also like the long-term plan parting of this, but the combination long-term, short-term plan. So we can get some things where we can improve the beach house now, improve the electrical upgrades in a couple of years. We've been managing to do it for the last couple of years, but if we do all these things, we can expand and bring in more revenue in the future. So I think that, and also if we do want to do there's a couple of things with this. There's 2 points of it. If we get the master plan and say, hey, we don't want to do this conservation fund this year, we can always wait next year to do that. But there is still time for them to do it this year. And if they do the master plan and say, hey, no, let's do this, let's go for it, and get that money set, because that money will be really allocated for 2 years from now, 2 or 3 years from now. So you really want to do it now, because if you wait next year, that you're going to have to upgrade the master plan again and kind of push things forward. So I do think that this is a good thing that the Troyer Group has shown good things, and I support.
And didn't it say somewhere in there, I think I said this last time, about, like, we don't just give them $19,000.
No.
As they do things, we.
As they
do.
do think they bill us monthly and we have to, that's where you hold them to it. Now, the Troy group, I've never had a problem with. Other people, you have to hold them their feet to the fire before they get things done. But Troy group has generally been pretty good and they don't overcharge, they do what they say they're gonna do, but if they don't, we hold them to that. And stop the process. We can always stop the process if they're not going, if we've only gotten through the walkthrough meeting and they charge us half the money, we know that's a problem.
Right.
So.
And we haven't had that yet, so we're a little behind on their proposal.
Well, their proposed thing is about a month. If they start now, they can do it because they started December. Well, if we start now, they can probably get it done in time. So if Tracy tells Mike tomorrow that we've approved the thing, he can get that started. And they have, right now is a pretty good time for them to do the work anyways. So I would make a motion.
Well, let me,
Well, listen, I'm sorry, just.
let's see if there's any other.
Yeah, sorry.
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
No, I agree with Rick. I think, doesn't that LWCF fund, isn't that you can't apply for it with the same facility every 15 years or 10 years?
Yeah,
or
so
something?
if you want to do it, you want to make sure you have a good plan in place and get as much money as you can in that grant fund.
Right.
You can't go 15,000, 20,000. You want to do the 200 for the 300, 400, 500. So I think there's a $500,000 limit.
And then you won't get it for.
Then you won't get it for a while. That's why you want to really have a good plan and get what you need to move forward.
So the importance of something like this doing that is
Yes,
definitely.
right.
Yeah, I think it's important. But the way I read this is only gonna apply to the beach. Not the campground.
It's a beach and campground because it is the beach, the front. And it is a campground as well, I believe.
I don't know.
I think I can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure Mike was talking about the campsite because when we were. we
Like the
spoke with him,
bathhouse, the hot
He
water
talked about
heater,
the
plumbing,
bathhouse
all
and
that
the other
needs-
bathroom. He did talk about those things in our meeting.
Okay.
And we can make that contingent on the motion,
Yeah.
contingent on him saying that that's both the beach and the campground.
Yeah, because that one bullet point is talking about plumbing, electrical upgrades.
Right,
and
which they don't really
that-
have on the other side.
Right.
Yeah,
But we
I
can
just,
confirm that.
yeah, I just would have liked to confirm it because I don't see anything on here. about
You're right.
campground. Okay, is there a motion?
I will make the motion that we accept this proposal for Troyer Group to do the work on the condition that they're supposed for the beach and the campground side of the site.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
You all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. It has a place for me to sign, but maybe I'll wait.
Oh, yeah. Wait until we contact Mike tomorrow and maybe they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next thing on the agenda is superintendent salary increase.
Yeah, you ditched me last month.
I'm sorry.
Now,
Wait, we heard about it. I have grandkids that
When he said Dick's not gonna be here, my mouth just hit the floor.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I forgot all about my grandkids being in.
That's all right, I'll forgive you.
Thank you. I would have gotten in big trouble at home. Okay,
now, when we hired Tracy, we did say at the time that we would do an evaluation at 3 or 6 months, and we have not done that yet. We're gonna do that for this month. I think Tracy's done a good job and really was not a great position because things were kind of in disarray and has really shown, it's all positive as far as I'm concerned. And we're moving forward and making positive steps forward, so I think Tracy's done a good job so far.
is there any other discussion?
I would concur with that, because especially working with all this peer stuff and trying to get all that straightened out. That's how many revenue slips coming in. There's been a lot of time devoted to making sure that that's right. And I think it's.
We're gonna find out.
Tracy, what was your start date?
August 10th.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion?
That's less than 5 months, right?
It was supposed to be 90 days.
Yeah.
The original was 90 days.
How much are we talking?
Well, it's been, that's 5 months, right?
What is your salary now?
37.5.
And that's the bottom end of the,
It's below the bottom end.
below the bottom end.
Yes,
How is
I
that
have-
possible?
Well, I have the new one, but it's the same as.
Well, that's right,
last
if
year.
you see, what's the new range?
It's the same as last year.
Well, they just voted a 5% increase.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, so,
so you can see it right there. And in the budget. And I don't know if this matters. The budget for this year is that. Which is more than that. So I don't know where.
The budget is a 5% probably increase on that.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's not, you're right.
The 5% was like $36 a week.
All right, so the top end is 45,960 and the bottom end is 39.
And I started at 37,
You started at 37.
which, like I said, both of the others started way above me.
Now, generally, at the highway department, we would start people on the low end at 6 months, 3 to 6 months, we would raise a percentage.
Right,
And then maybe at 12 months, raise it again,
Right.
and then 18 to 24 months, raise it to the top end if the person is doing a good job. That allows you to, if you're doing an okay job, you just keep the salary the same. I do think it warrants an increase for the 6 months. How much it is, it needs to at least get to the minimum, I believe, because it's unfair that you start below the minimum.
You know, what's the minimum?
The minimum, well, if the minimum before the 5% increase was 39,375. And that was the minimum for that position. Now there's a 5% increase on that, and whatever that is.
What's the top?
The top is 45,964, not counting the 5% increase in salaries across the board.
so last year that there was, I mean, like 14,000 a week, part of the time we didn't have a superintendent.
Right.
There was
Tracy,
a lot of money.
what was the prior superintendent?
That was all in last month's. That I gave you guys.
I think it was a little bit, the first superintendent was.
He started out at 39, so he started out at 45.
45, he did, that was a mistake.
And then she started at 39.
Yes, that was the low end of the salary.
Right,
And you, for some reasons, started lower than that.
right.
My thought is to get it to the minimum now, and then at 6 more months, at the 1 year date, do another evaluation and go up from there, because that would take it from 37 to roughly 40 something, low 40s. I mean, and then after
So
that,
after 5 months, I'm gonna start at what I should have been started at.
I know, you're right. You're right about that. I mean,
Well, I thought the original superintendent was at 42.5 or something.
whatever the high end at the time was, that's what it was. There's been increases in the overall percentage of the salary thing because of inflation and cost of living. It was that, but he was at the high end of it. I personally think Tracy deserves to be a little bit higher than the low end, especially in the turning things around in the position he was in, but that's up to everybody else.
We agree that.
Do you have that?
I don't have a problem with a pay increase. I know one thing, she started in August, she hasn't been here through the opening yet, or
Right.
the meat of the season, so to speak.
Right.
So I would be opposed to a full to the top.
No, yeah, I'm not.
Somewhere,
But the top would be like 45.
Right, I'm not asking for that. I just thought if we could meet in the middle somewhere.
I think he was at about 42.
Well, that was a couple years ago.
No, I know, but that, I mean.
He came in with the
top
background.
42 Seems like.
He also had a background and experience in.
No, that's true, but.
That's, I know, that's my point, what did that do? Nothing,
Right.
Well,
and I feel like I've done things,
yeah, that's kind of a procedural thing.
I know.
So what's the number that? Folks are recommending then?
What are you now?
I think we should. It should be.
What's your salary?
37.
Poverty.
37.
I think it should be. around-
Very good.
around 42.
Did you say 39.3, Tracy?
37.5.
37.5.
The low end,
Because I think 5% from
the
the
low
salary.
the low end after the 5% raise, what the county has invited in was 41,343. Will be the low end after that 5% raise is in.
Right, that's why I kind of thought it'd be about 42 or
41.
343, but
Okay.
Wouldn't this be something that's more discussed on like executive?
Well, it was supposed to be, I was supposed to get the final answer tonight, we've had a month. Was the issue.
Well, it's Dick's fault.
well, I personally don't. Oh, yeah, we could discuss that.
Well, I'd entertain a motion to increase it to 41,000.
Is that for the 5% or, yeah,
I don't care.
Well,
So would you add the
that really
5% to the 41?
41 would be 41. I don't think it,
It'd be 41.
yeah. They're not gonna 5% on top of that.
Yeah. 41.
well, what I'm saying is, no, we wouldn't be approving that, but they automatically put that raise in at a certain point. Yeah, so I don't know if they've already put that in or not.
Do you know if they have, Tracy?
Yes,
They have put that in, okay.
I turned payroll in yesterday and it is there now.
Yeah, it should have been first of the year, so. I would, did you make a motion, Dick? on that?
I said I'd entertain.
Oh.
If somebody's got a different motion, I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion that we increase the superintendent's salary up to 41,000. With a review in another 6 months.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
You're just barely out of poverty.
Well, food stamps went up.
Can I ask a question?
Hey, at least you got a raise. I haven't got one.
The superintendent, what department is, was that for?
She's superintendent of the Starke County Parks.
Parks and Recreation.
Okay, conference attendance.
So there's a conference coming up and I know when I first started, maybe Carl, somebody we talked about, there are some different interesting conferences to go to learn different things about lakes and, different things. There's one coming up in Bloomington in March. And I'm not positive I'm going. It's a Thursday and a Friday. I just didn't know, nobody's ever told me how you go about doing those
it
things.
depends on the department, and the auditor's office has a fund of money to fund departments like yours to go to conferences. The highway department, the sheriff's department, and the EMS funded their own conferences. But the other departments, the smaller departments, were generally funded by that fund. So you may want to talk to Rachel, see if
Okay.
they will do that. I think it would be nice for you to do that, but I also think it would be good if that money is there for conferences to use that for that.
I just didn't know how I went about. You have to have your application in early and paying for it and mileage and,
Do you know which conference it is?
it was,
NRPA or
pardon?
NRPA or?
No, it was Lakes. I have it down in my office. It's in Bloomington at the Four Winds.
When is it?
Marina, something, March 8th and 9th. It's a Thursday and Friday. But it just said they talked a lot about, different things with the water, different laws, different things. There's grant writing, donations, different funds, and stuff that they talk about. There's classes on stuff like that too.
Speak to Rachel about how.
And I'm not positive, I might be
I understand.
busy by then or something, but I
Can we
just thought it
can we
was
table it to
something.
the next meeting?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's-
I just,
Speak to Rachel about how we pay for it and bring us an itinerary or something about what kind of conference it is and what they cover, and then.
and I can shoot
Take it
you
up.
an email on that to show you.
We'll take
what
it up at the
is,
next meeting.
Carl.
All right, is there a deadline to enter on that?
They didn't have it yet. It said more,
Dick, what if, because they don't hold you to those. So what if there is a deadline prior to, can she at least submit an application? And then if we have to withdraw?
Sure, you don't have to send money in right away, do you?
No,
Just apply.
Just register.
right,
Register? Yeah, you can go ahead and register and then.
Yeah.
Find out how we fund it and bring us an itinerary and we'll vote next.
because a lot of those only take so many people, so.
Okay,
right.
very good. Revenue report.
This paper here that you guys have, Rick, you were asking me if we knew which category took in what amount of money. So this is only June, like the seasonal campers, the campers that come in on the weekend, what we made on boat slips, gate fees, kayaks, it's all itemized here. The only problem is I don't have anything before June. I wasn't here, so we are missing. Probably the seasonal campers, we're missing, half of that rent money there or over half. camping fees, gate fee, you're missing all of Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend, so. I could only present what I have on file, so,
Where's the peer, is the peer rental on here?
it would be boat slips. But like I said, that came in June, so.
Most of them were paid ahead, right?
But the gate fee, you know, I figured. Looking at Labor Day and stuff, I figured the gate fee, that I think that was the beach. Coming into the beach, that was one of the main things that we were talking about. June to October, well, June to September, it took in $5,200, so I would add another 2,000 or 3,000 for Memorial Day on there. Being that Labor Day was August, that August would be, a lot of that would be Labor Day weekend, you know, so at least maybe 1,500, 2,000 onto that, so. The gate actually, I'm gonna guess, took in like 6,500, 7,000, which I don't think so bad.
No,
Sam, did you make a comment last meeting about, it might be a good idea in the future, being able to have people come in for free, especially people who live in Starke County?
If we can.
If we increase the revenue and other people. So if we can offset that revenue somewhere else in the future, it might be a good idea to do that.
Rick, we talked
Which
about.
we have Wednesday free day, start
Oh,
free
good.
day.
We talked about it a while back too, about stickers or something,
yeah,
in county and out of county or something.
Well, why don't we include that? Because we're gonna have a discussion in the spring about fees, you know, leasing fees and a lot of the financial stuff. Why don't we just include that into the discussion to see if there's something that we, you know, instead of changing it
For
midstream.
2024.
It would just seem to make sense to talk about it at the same time.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we can put it off till at least February. 1 month. But I don't think we can go much beyond March.
Right, and at that time, if we think there's something we can do this year, then we can do it, but if not, we would put it off to.
So let's think about that one.
And then as far as like the financial report, there's nothing different than last month, other than, you know, when our money starts coming in. I did take a couple of reservations already for Memorial Day and 4th of July, but
Okay,
there's not a whole lot there. I paid NIPSCO, which was like 300, and then I renewed the membership for the Indiana Parks and Recreation
I feel right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So is
for like
there,
300. I mean, there wasn't.
is it a motion to approve the claims and the routine utilities?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims and utilities.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I need to go back up. I forgot to. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the December 13th meeting? I did go over those. I don't know if there's any discussion about those. Is there a discussion? Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, any other business come before the board? Yes, ma'am. Would you state your name?
I'm Kathy Hensel.
Thank you.
Anyhow, Tracy, are you going to then notify Rita about the sand and when we can get it? Because she's probably the, no, she's the president.
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Once I meet with Bob and see what he's got and stuff, you know.
Okay, there's one other thing is we haven't received our signs yet.
No, they're in my garage at the beach.
Oh, you do have them though.
Oh, I have them in the posts and everything. We were just waiting for the weather to be a little bit better to put them in. I think I don't know if you were at the last meeting. I'm kind of at the county highways mercy too, because they're kind of gonna do it for us, so I can't keep saying.
No, I don't want to get it on the
But
bad
no,
side.
they're in my possession.
Okay.
I have them.
Good.
They're locked up in the garage at the Bass Lake.
And they're
Beach.
bigger than that little bitty one, right?
They're like 3 by 3. They're brown, just like any other campground or with the white outline. Yeah, they're very nice.
We have one more thing, you know, where he cut that tree down on the beach. Do you know of anybody or that we could get to grind that stump down? That would be a reasonable price. You know, because that's quite expensive sometimes.
Stump grinding,
Mhm. Some of the community residents have been asking about that.
I'll put it on the list.
Could I ask you a question about that sand?
Yeah.
What kind of sand are you talking about?
He said it, they called it blow sand, beach sand. I don't know, I haven't been out to look at it.
Is that, I guess that's the thing that has to be looked at because
What's that Bass Lake? It's
blow
like-
sand means 6 different things.
I know,
to
yeah.
people.
I would hope he knows what he's talking about, things that he's been in that business forever, but, you know. Cause even what's that Bass Lake Beach is not good, it's got a lot of
Well,
gravel. on
I
it.
guess what I was getting at. Are we wanting to replace or put sand in there that is yellow or white? Doesn't matter.
At Coons Lake,
Yes.
Well, last time we got it out of the Yellow River, which they complained because it was out of the Yellow River. So I,
well, then it was yellow sand, right?
Oh, the white sand that comes out of there.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you, I got some of that sand from the Yellow River for the volleyball pits down in Wythogan Park, and it's really nice sand.
It is.
Yeah.
Like
It's
swap.
all strained. It's strained out of the river.
And
But
the
he
county's got
complains-
tons of it.
He complains about that sand. Remember, he filed with some agency
Yeah, we don't. care.
about the yellow sand we use.
I don't know. What color is it now?
it's yellow, yeah.
Yellow?
Yeah.
It really needs to, I mean, we really do need to stand though.
Yeah, like I said, I won't know until I,
Well, we're gonna get sand. It's just gonna be, it'll take a while.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
The sand isn't the hard part, the hauling it is the hard part.
yeah, well, I mean, at least it's not that far.
Yeah.
Right there, he said he's like a mile from the dam, so
All right. Yeah,
what did they
let's-
put in, like 2 truckloads the last time, do you know, do you remember?
2 tandem loads.
Yeah, that's not much.
You'll go look at it, make sure it looks good.
Can we take pictures of you? I'm sure.
I'm sure,
Okay, I have one more thing. Mary Stock called me today. About the kayak launch. Down by Whitlogan Park, on the depot side there. And I think that involves is that the 35,000 that
Yes.
Kathy Norm?
Yes.
Group,
Well, I think didn't they say they weren't wanting to focus on the one on the western end?
there was 2,
Two of
English
them,
Lake
the
and,
the Knox one in the Kankakee and the Yellow River confluence. Yeah, you're right.
okay. Well, he called me about the one down at the park, where it's actually closer to the depot, where it's in that area there. That's city land. He suggested that one of the ways to do it is we give them the money that it's gonna take to develop that. And they develop it and maintain it. The other issue is, I don't know if we can even do that legally, because we're the ones that were given the money. The other thing is, if we're going to maintain it and keep it as part of the park, we have to figure out a legal way to do that. They could give us an easement, they could sell us some, for $1 or whatever, but there's gotta be something to transfer it from the city to us if we're going to be the people that keep it and maintain it. Since we have the whole kayak project, I think it makes more sense for us to maintain it and keep it. But I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention, and maybe we can have Justin do some legal research on that and see the best way to legally do this. My preference is that we keep it within the park system, but then Mary Stock seemed to think it might be easier for us to transfer the money to I assume to maybe Carl to the city park. Anyway,
I'm
transfer.
abstaining from all this.
Yeah, transfer the money to the city, and then the city would develop that and keep it maintained. So,
Now, one thing about our application that Troyer Group is going to do, they're not just looking for the Bass Lake Beach and Campground, they're also including the kayak launches in that. So, and that 30,000 could go as a match for the 35,000 So all of that has to be coordinated and things. So we had to make sure we tell Mike that when the city is involved and they would have discussed some kind of agreement.
And then,
I think maintaining it makes a lot more sense for the city
I'm sure.
versus the county. I mean, they've only got 2 people. I've got 3.
then we got, actually have to talk to the folks that put that out there, that, because if I remember right, it had a time limit, so it might have to be extended or.
18 months to get started. What I'd like to do, Tracy, is have you talk to Justin about the legal ramifications of all this, you know. Because if we gave it to the city, we'd probably have to enter some kind of contract where we give them X number of dollars and they agree to use those dollars to develop the kayak and then maintain it and all that sort of thing. And I don't know which would be the best way to
Well, if
do it.
we put it in with the big one, it would probably have to stay with us, right?
Well, that's kind of what I think. I mean, since we're doing the kayaks all up and down the river, I'm not sure that we shouldn't keep all of them
Right.
as ours, but talk to Justin about it and see what he recommends, and then we'll talk about it next meeting. Okay.
Well, like I said, he said he'll be at the next meeting too, so
Okay.
I already.
Yeah, give him a heads up on that. Anyone have anything else?
Yes, sir, Keith Berry, Best Lake Campground. Was there a procedural change or anything about securing a campground after hours and during the winter session? We've been in a Zoom meeting last month, but was there something done official by the board? Because we went down there today and the gates are wide open with no lock, nothing on it. So
No, that's my fault, because I kept waiting for the county to come in and get the wood chips and do the grading and all of that, and they never did, and so.
just want to make sure there wasn't something said or done that.
No, I have the locks in my possession, I just haven't locked it.
Important.
I'll take full blame.
There goes your raise.
Anything else? Anyone else? All right, thanks for coming, everyone. We're adjourned.
Can I get you guys a picture for the new website? These guys.
Yeah, we have one. What did we do wrong?
Small pictures on the website.
Days like this? Yeah, you can't beat that.
It's running the night.
That's what it usually says.
Five should be.
Whatever.
37.
Yes.
Say, don't forget your Zoom's still on.
That's,
I'll send you a picture. I got leaves running tonight. I gotta run.
okay.
Are you sure?
You guys.
Stop recording.
Good to be seen.
And.
And you were.